Yeah, y'all, we here. Truck like us. Today's episode is gonna be a real interesting one. I got the real Ghost Dog in the building. This is the real Ghost Dog. I know there might be another Ghost Dog on the internet, but nah. This is the real Ghost Dog from Chicago. If you don't know, now you know. Um, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much, nothing much.
I had to get you on the show because you know what I mean. You've been bumping into this bag real crazy. You got some crazy stories that the net need to know. So, I had to get you on the show to explain some. And you know what I mean, I'm gonna let the audience know, you know what I mean, this is a real finesser, you know what I mean, doing his thing. So before we get into your story, you know what I mean, you deal with the hot shots. So how long have you been dealing with the hot shots?
About 5 years.
About 5 years.
Mhm.
Well, what made you get into the hot shot?
I started. I was renting out cars or whatever. I had a fleet of like Maseratis, and I was losing negative equity. So I
Mm,
took them to the dealership and went ahead and traded them in, and I was basically forced in. They gave me
mm.
a truck.
So nobody put you on. You just like it just fell in your lap. Like,
Yeah, I seen that negative equity, and they was trying to offer me a truck just to offset it, and I took that truck and started Hot Shot.
mm. So how did everything go when like you started your business? Like, how did you get shit popping off?
It was this European lady on YouTube, and she told me really everything click by click, and
Mm-hmm.
I just followed her steps, did everything she said, and it was did the process the 19 days and waited and got the insurance like towards like almost the last week of starting, and I jumped out there day one.
Mm. Official. So you first jumping out. Any like like what type of experience you had? Like any crazy shit? Like what were your like failures first coming out?
Dispatchers.
Dispatchers, you couldn't get no dispatcher.
No, I can get dispatchers, but I noticed that they just want to send you wherever just to get their money.
What about when you was driving the truck? Like, you know what I mean, learning the business. Like, what type of mistakes you made? Because I remember you was telling me one time, like, you had like a little Mexican lady with you and some crazy shit had happened. Get into that for us real quick.
Oh, that was an oversized load. That was me. I was team driving, and I had a lady that wanted to learn how to drive or whatever, and she happened to have a dually, and I hooked a trailer up to hers that was 14K GVWR, so that was making her truck CDL mode, and we
Mm,
just didn't know at the time, and we was driving to Kansas, which I don't recommend to ever go to Kansas, you
mm-hmm,
know. But we went out there or whatever, and that officer pulled us over or whatever because we had wide load on the back of our truck and on the front of our truck, and he was like, "That's for farming purposes only. It's supposed to say oversized." So he was like, "So this is just gonna be a learning event," and he gave me 14 warnings, so to where I couldn't fight none of them,
damn.
you know.
14?
Yeah, he gave me 14 violations, basically going over everything. And I mean, that made me a monster, though.
How
He
did you
showed
feel
me
getting that shit?
I was cool. I was able to drive away and still drop the load off.
Mm,
I mean, he told me everything, which I knew better. I just seen that truck, I seen that load, I left.
yeah. That's crazy. So you having your company now and then getting drivers for your company. I knew like you explained to me before, hiring drivers could be like a hit or miss, and like you had a couple of them fucking up your company, fucking the truck up, stopping at way stations, just extra. Like explain some of those you know, stories with me.
I mean, the best drivers are the ones that's gonna leave collateral with you. You know, them the ones who gonna leave a vehicle that they financing,
Mm-hmm.
leave that at your yard. You know, them 9 times out of 10, them the drivers that's gonna complete the mission. But all these other drivers, I mean, they're definitely a ruin your company. You know, they drinking, they all on their phones, they damaging your transmission. You know, they don't like when you tell them nothing. You know, it get real out there. You know.
Now you had a like a white couple from Alabama, like a married couple. How did that one go when they was working for you?
Yeah, they was team driving. Well, they really wasn't team driving. He was telling me he was team driving, but he was the one driving, and she was just in the car or whatever. But I mean, they was doing it for like 2 months. You know, he was fixing everything, doing everything, and he got races at the end. You know, it came one week to where he didn't do no loads that week, but he was going home. You know, he was going home for that week, and he was like, can I get paid?" And he was like, and I was like, "What you mean? You ain't do no work yet." And he was like, and then that's when he started getting disrespectful and racist. You know, like it always comes out. You know, white drivers, 98% of them are racist. The Mexican drivers, 80% of them want to be like cartel bosses,
Mm.
and the black people want to just count your pockets. You know, so you got to figure out which one you want to go with.
Mm. Yeah, and you had some Mexican dudes out of Texas too that was working for you for a while, and you kind of did your research on them, and then some of your peoples even knew who they were. How did that Mexican group go?
Yeah, some of the people you gotta really finesse out the truck, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Once I knew that it was like danger mode, I told him, yeah, come to Atlanta and we send you home at the airport or whatever. And he got there to the airport or what? No. Matter of fact, I'm lying. He he got to a location. I sent him to Copart, the auction, and
Mm.
he dropped the truck off or whatever like that, and I put him in an Uber. And I told him that he was coming to the other truck. Both of them, it was team drivers, and they jumped in the Uber, and they just happened to believe that they was going to another truck. But the whole time I was sending them to the airport. You know, I wouldn't have never got my truck back if I wouldn't have tricked them out the truck. You know?
Right, right, right. And people don't know these are some of the things that owner operators have to go through when you have people working in your truck, and then you might find out some more information on later that you didn't know at first. And you might have to finesse them out the truck. You don't want them to do no shit to the truck, damage the truck, nothing like that. That's your money maker. So that was a smart move on your behalf. So going through all this with drivers, up and downs, and hard to get a good one is hit or miss. Did this like what happened to your MC after that?
I mean, I done had 23 drivers. You know, they was catching me all types of little violations. Like, some of them was on me though. Like, I can't just put them all on them. Like, my windows was tinted. You know, and that was a violation. Any little warning, messes you up. You
Mm,
know, so it wasn't to where I had to shut my company down. It was to where insurance was trying to charge me like triple the rate to keep going. So,
mm.
after insurance see all your safety score is so high, it's up to them, ball in their court. And they made it to where it was unrealistic.
That shit went up
Shit,
because
they,
they like professional crooks. Them damn insurance companies.
yeah, they gonna charge you $3,000, $4,000 down payment, 2,000, 3,000 a month. They gonna get you.
Mm. So that being said, what like did you have to lease on? Like how did your lease on game go on?
I mean, when I was running my company, I was out there networking with a few people, and I was helping people start companies as I was going, and when danger came, and I had to shut my company down or whatever, I didn't really shut it down, but I had to put it on pause, and I just called up some people, and I just started running under their company. Everything go good, but it's no EOD gang that way, and
Mm.
everybody for themselves, that's when the real drivers come out, and the
Ye-
leasing owner, I mean that's good money, but you getting a lot taken out of your money too.
Yeah, because your situation, you got a few connects. Because we had a couple
Mhm.
of bypasses, so I know of you. You know what I mean. So I know everything that you're saying is official. I know shit is real. So like your connection game is kind of serious from what I've been hearing. So the person that you leased on with, your situation is kind of benefiting you in a real way.
Yeah, for sure. I just happened to had did a load with him before, and he was a brother out of Georgia. No, he was a brother out of Alabama or whatever, and we was talking or whatever, and we got information. And as I was trucking, I still just kept him in the back burner as I was trucking, and I was just throwing it at him because I knew it was coming. You always got to be ahead. I knew it was coming, and I called him up. I'm picking with him. He, no, I ain't ready. No, I ain't ready. And then when the company actually shut down, he was ready. It just happened
Mm.
to been a luck of the draw. But before that company, I was leased on to another guy's company or whatever, and his was cool, but he had over 40 drivers leased on, and they was catching um, drug abuse and weed and running lights, so we couldn't barely get loads with this company. You need that clean MC.
Right.
That's where you got to run at. You start catching stuff under them companies, it's over. You know,
Mm.
that's the game. So if you're gonna lease on, you need to lease on. I ain't saying go on a people company and bump your head, but you gotta bump your head. But remember that that's somebody else company and they trying to feed their family as well. So you gotta play it tight and stay it right.
That's crazy. That's some real shit right there. Cause yo, from the first time we ran into each other, like you've been doing like a lot of hustles. Like you really don't depend fully on the trucking, even though you get money with the trucking. Cause one time you was selling puppies, you be selling cars. So like as you going around and networking within trucking, like you're getting like other deals and like other ideas. Like explain that.
I mean, that just come from like me just growing up, prison time, having stolen prison, making people get a soup, give me two soups back. So I catch them cheap cars and fix them up, tint the windows, I sell them. Um, I'm just always on top of anything. It ain't nothing I can't do if somebody else can do it. So even if I can't do it, I can sub it out and get somebody else to do it. But like I just try not to turn down nothing. And it just depend on when stuff go on with one company, you gotta dig in your basket. You gotta have eggs planted everywhere. So
That
when
fin-
stuff
that
start popping off, you know,
that finesse game got to come out.
yeah, nah, yeah, yeah, you gotta every skill gotta come out. You might be driving, your driver might call you and be like, "Man, your transmission just went out." It's time thing now. Now you gotta go spend 8-9 thousand to put a transmission in the truck same day, next day. You can't sit. So that's 8-9 thousand gone right then and there, getting a transmission.
Mm. So due to going through all those trials and tribulations with them drivers, and it forced you to pause your company, and you leased on with another company there right now. Like how you driving? Like how you? Let's keep it real right now. Like how is Ghost Dog operating right now due to all that bullshit you have to go through?
Right now, I mean, I'm just riding like I got regular insurance, like I'm not going through that high 25,000, $30,000 $30,000 a year um insurance. I'm just getting regular full coverage, the best full coverage they got, and that'll be like almost $100, $200, each month. Big difference, from paying that. And yeah, I mean, I'm using I'm not really. I'm just driving, I'm just driving, man. I'm grabbing them loads, and I'm just praying nothing happens, I'm securing my load real good. I'm looking real professional, and I ain't, I'm just driving. I ain't using no, I ain't using no clock. I'm not using nothing. I'm just making sure I get there,
Go Ghost
Like,
Dog Finesse.
yeah, like I'm just making sure I get there, I'm driving. Oh, there go the police. Okay, let me go to the truck stop. I'll wait for shift change or something, but
Mm.
I ain't trying to mess up nobody company or anything like that, but I'm definitely trying to drop that load off. So, oversized, I don't care if it was 15 wide, 14 wide, I'm gonna drive that thing. And when
Mm.
I see police or they look like they camping out, then I'm just gonna pull over and take a break. But yeah, man.
Now you had told me one time you took a oversized load and you said like, yo, you had to say like fuck the permits. How wide was that load?
No, that load was like 14 wide. I had drove that load from like Wisconsin to Louisiana, New Orleans. And man, I just drove. I was scared the whole way, but hey, I drove there, I stopped, and I made it.
Now
I
how the
said I'd never do it again, though. It is dangerous, you can't hurt people doing that stuff, getting down that road with oversized stuff hanging off the trailer. You gotta be definitely, it's safety. I'm not saying break the law out here for sure. I'm saying if you can get permits and you can get all your flags and to put in the back and your four flags on the side of each to let other cars know, that's cool. That's perfect, But me, it's a time thing, I gotta make 10, 12,000 a week, so it's time, and I couldn't get the permits at the time that I picked up that load, and I wasn't finna just sit there with that load. I'm like, let me hurry up and dry this and get it off my trailer, and it just happened to be the luck of the draw. I made it.
Now how the hell you drive 14 wide from that pickup to drop off? Like what kind of load was that?
I mean, it looked like a big cereal bowl, it looked like a big cereal bowl. I never knew what it was, but it was like a real, real big bowl. But I mean, I just stay in that first lane. I don't ever get in the middle lane, last lane. I stay in that first lane, almost like I'm finna go out of bounds, to cut my hazards on, and I be good, man. I done drove a lot of oversized loads with no permits. That's the easy work. But it is about safety, letting the drivers know. I ain't saying just get out there, no permits, and just drive how you want to drive, but I will still make it make sense. Stay in that first lane, stay up speed. Know what state you playing in for sure.
Well, because of that shape, you was lucky because your height was at the top instead of the bottom, so that's why you was able to chance it like that. Because shit, if that width was at the bottom, shit, I don't know if you would have been able to make it from that pickup to drop off because that shit wide. But lucky your height, you said it was shaped like a bowl, so your height was up at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I done drove big air conditioning units that was wide that I needed escort cars for, but I just drove.
Mm,
I feel like I know how to drive, and I went ahead eye surgery just for this trucking shit. I had to be able to see the road, and I wanted to see good, so I paid 10,000 to make it seem so I could see like a robot. I had LASIK eye surgery,
mm.
and everything clear, man. And I just go. I stay up speed. I don't be speeding or nothing like that. I stay in that first lane. I cruise, and once I'm all the way in that lane, my wide part is never in the second lane anyway. So I make it make sense. I mean, I just drive daylight, sun up, sun down. You can still flag your car in the front, flag it in the back, put your flow signs on the side, and drive it during the day. Blend in. It's the luck of the draw if you get picked. You get picked, you get picked. You just gotta know how to get out of getting picked. Or when they do pick you, you gotta know what to say. You know.
Ghost Dogg.
Yeah.
Now,
I ain't got no company, so it's not like they messing up nobody company, and they gonna have to take me to jail before I give up anybody's company, because I
that's a
don't know nothing.
that's a fact. Now, from that time, because we had a little bypass meetings up in Chicago. Last time I passed through Chicago, we had a little bypass meeting. I think around that time you had about two hot shots. Now, from that time, I seen you step your game up. You got about like five trucks on the road right now. And then like the last truck that you got, like you first of all, you've been bumping into some bags like crazy. I mean, your luck is like different. That's one reason why I had to get you on the show, because the way you be bumping into this shit is crazy. Now you bumped into some bags recently, and you got this new hot shot on the road. Like, can you get like into a little bit of detail about that one?
Um, yeah, I mean, I basically started off with my first truck. Don't think I just jumped in and I just got all these trucks. I was out there pushing. I was out there every day. I was letting them wheels move. I was using my credit up, maxing my stuff out. I was doing everything. I was going 120% and still catching violations and stuff. But somebody ended up letting me grab their truck to do like a owner finance thing. I was only having to pay them 500 a month for like a 2008 dually. Shout out to that dually. That ran for 3 years for me, and that blew up out there in Montana, man. Trying to climb that hill going up there to Idaho. And it just happened to be luck of the draw. I just played it cool. I never get mad. I just
Get
I
into
just let
depth about that one, because you had a truck that caught on fire, and you was ghost dogging it, and then 12 popped up and you finessed it.
Oh yeah, so I mean they pulled up or whatever, and they grabbed the truck. I guess the driver, he pranked or whatever, and he didn't use the fire extinguisher.
Mm.
Got to use the fire extinguisher. And I guess he was leaving my gas tank on, the auxiliary tank on or whatever. He was leaving it on, and it was filling up too much, so it started leaking out. And I guess something sparked off the ground or something and caught it, you know. And he just jumped out the car or whatever and just let it burn. And somebody pulled up on the side of the road and was at someone there to help him. The whole time they hurted him because they was a record company. So they sent them big dogs out there, and they was trying to charge almost $8,000-9,000 just for the tow. So they ended up grabbing the truck and the trailer or whatever. They got freight on there. This freight supposed to go to Idaho. The whole time the freight got a little burn marks on the fender. But
Mhm.
I hurry up and call the people, and I get to asking about the fender or whatever. I call a different state, and they get to telling me it's $500. I'm like, okay, I need that. Can you send this to Idaho? I'm already prepped for it. Send it there for 550. Let's do it. So I end up calling the tow company like, look, man, y'all want 8,000. He like, no, sir, we want 11,000 to get the truck and trailer out of the tow. You got to get both. So I'm like, okay, listen, I got about 6,000 on me cash, and I need you to go drop that load off at like a United Rental or whatever, so we can get paid for that load, and I can have all the money. So he get one of the dumb tow truck drivers to just drive out there to Idaho or whatever and drop the load off for me, get him to sign the BOL, ching ching. I got that money in the bank now. So they get to calling me or whatever, and they like, well, we see these burnt marks whole time. I'm like, yeah, the fender there, that's what burned. They like, oh man, you already knew what happened. I appreciate it. Done deal, you
Mm.
know. But that truck and the trailer, my trailer was still good. It just burnt up with the wires and stuff. But they wanted 11,000 to get it out. I'm like, why get it out if I financed it and I owe 10,000? So I let them have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it back home, and then I just happened to a buddy of mine called me or whatever, and he went to like a auction. No, somebody bought a truck off the auction in 2021, 2022, and he found him on Marketplace or whatever, and he ended up buying a truck. I guess he had his bank finance, and he gave him some cash or whatever, but the truck been stolen before. That's why it was ran through IAA. So the truck had different VIN numbers on it, and dude never knew that. So when he came to me and I had my mechanics out there, we all checking everything. We let him know, like, bro, these VINs don't match. He instantly started grabbing his coat, grabbing his stuff, booking Ubers, going to airports, trying to book tickets. And I'm like, what the fuck? Man, this motherfucker probably stolen.
This is where the vent is. I'll show my light. So that's the same. That's the VIN number that was associated with the car when it was made.
So I get to digging deeper into it or whatever. He like, bro, you can have a title to it, bro. I grabbed the title or whatever, and I got the truck. He went home. I'm like, this is unreal, Truck just blew up. Now I got a truck. What's going on, But the VINs don't match, But the guy was telling me, well, who he got it from. He ended up giving me his number or whatever. He was like, no, it came from the auction like that. Man, I start looking stuff up. It was saying it got stolen. It got recovered, so it ran through the auction. And the dude was just so scared he didn't want to go through none of that type of process or whatever. He just gave the truck up, man.
Damn.
And I signed it over in my name or whatever, and it was my truck after that. He didn't even give a fuck about it no more because he thought it was stolen. He thought he just got finessed out of 40, but I didn't know what to do because I just lost the truck, and he just gave me a truck. And when he asked me, do I want the title, I'm like, nah, hell no, I don't want it. Bro, take the title. Like, he's trying to tell me that he made a bill of sale video. He wanted this shit from me. He like, bro, turn up. I'm like, damn, you know. So I
Yeah.
had the police come out there like, man, can y'all check this truck? And they checked it, woo woo, everything
Nah, but
clean.
before that, when you was double checking this shit too, didn't you like find out who the original owner was? Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, well now the dude who gave me the truck and stuff, he ended up giving me the number of the original owner or whatever. And I end up texting him or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, man, this truck stolen. Fuck that. Woo, woo. Need everything back. Woo, woo. I'm playing. I'm really playing for real. And I'm like, man, you gotta at least give me about 10,000 or whatever. Woo, woo, and I'll just leave you the fuck alone. And keep in mind, I don't even know this dude. This dude don't know me, but he think I'm dude.
Mm.
So he just shot me 5,000. So he gave me 5,000 to play with, and whole time I ain't even do, and he still start helping me more, get more information on the truck or whatever. He like, bro, I thought you wasn't gonna do none of that, and I'm like, bro, I ain't, but you still gotta help me, nigga. You're looking for the money. But then the dude who truck it was, he was like, damn, bro, dude sent you some money. I'm like, yeah, he sent me 5,000. What they got to do with you? Like these my plays, these my skills. Shit.
Nah, you been
You really
bumping up
think
into
like me?
some crazy plays because you got the truck for basically for free, and then you got paid 5 stacks for a free truck.
For a free truck on Jeep. And then the dude ended up giving He ended up buying all the equipment and everything to start the company, the gooseneck balls, all that type of stuff. He even paid for the transmission to get rebuilt. So keep in mind, you got a Dodge new boy, and the transmission got rebuilt. It's time to play.
Mm.
You know,
How that thing look inside?
man, got like 500 stars in the ceiling shooting off. 12-inch radio. It's one of the Laramies. It's
Mm-hmm.
stitched up, 3-inch lift off the ground. You know,
Damn.
the speakers all under the seats. Real leather.
So,
Presidential. I ain't never thought I had one of these. I knew they like 90,000 or 100,000, but and I got it for free, man. I ain't
mm.
had to pay nothing. All I had to do was buy some airbags.
Yeah, because I
That's
know I
it.
know people looking at that thing want to buy it from you too.
Man, they ain't looking at me because when they look at me, I got on the side of my truck. Let me buy your car. So when they see me, I'm doing more promos. I'm writing promos all over. So don't just look at this truck. Read what's on this truck. Every day is a hustle.
No, because I see the pictures. That truck could go for about 50 grand if you wanted to let it go.
Yeah, I already got offers. But 'cause I'm not financing nothing ever again. And I just feel like I'm car note free. Why sell it if you can keep it, add stuff to it, add more performance to it, and you got your dream truck.
Man, that's crazy.
All for free, man.
So you playing the game smart right now. So since you had to like pause one company, like you built up another one at the same time to avoid any hassles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta have about two, three of them things out there. DOT is out there. I mean, they not out there to really like hurt you. They out there to really make sure you safe. But it's just luck of the draw. A lot of people ain't got the money, and some people got the money, but they got lack of knowledge. So they
Mm,
don't know how to be legit out there. And it's a lot of rules and regulations. And if you're not abiding by them, they gonna shut your company down. That's the game. It's not that they shutting it down. They gonna let you go. You gonna go home. You know. But
mm,
once you wake up, insurance gonna tell you, hey, friend, when it come down to renewal, we don't want you no more. That's the game. They just want to post on your record.
nah, that's
They
that
don't want to get
bullshit.
there. Yeah,
So,
you get caught with, you can have a company for 5 years. You get caught with driving on your cell phone, your company is getting shut down.
mm.
That's dangerous.
So how the maintenance going? Any death issues?
What's that?
Any death issues on that truck with the death?
What's death?
I hear you. I hear you. You know what I mean? That's how that ghost dog style. You ain't got no problem. No problem.
Oh, I never heard of it.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. So yeah, man, you've been having some crazy luck out here, man. Bumping into the bag from when I first bypassed. You done had like I seen you with like two of them things. Now you got like 5 trucks on the road, bumping into the bag crazy. I know it's official because I done bypassed you in the streets already. So and I see you doing new things now. So you got some of them muscle cars selling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, it's just the luck of the draw, man. I'm networking always. I mean, I'm building these trucks now, though. Now I'm going to the auction. I'm grabbing one that's beat up, and I'm grabbing one that's working. And I just look at the draw. I just happen to meet like a mother, the mechanic. I found the plug,
Mm.
the mechanic. A brother that's trying to really see me win. Yeah, I say he gonna make sure them trucks is running good. I got a mechanic that anything go wrong, it don't matter where I'm at.
Mm. Now I hear you because the mechanic, that's like your lifeline in this business. You got a good mechanic. he gonna make sure you stay on that road.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Sometimes you get be in states to where whatever your mechanic can't reach you. You know, you can't panic.
Hmm.
You know, you gotta get on Facebook Marketplace. You gotta hit the mobile mechanics up. You gotta go on Google, type in mobile mechanics. You gotta call everybody. You
Hmm.
gotta tell a person, man, you gonna pay them whatever, man. Just come fix my truck. You know, come fix what I gotta fix. They'll come out. You know, they gonna go buy the parts with their money. They gonna do everything with their money. Man, I
Hmm.
done had a driver go out there, man, and needed a mobile mechanic about 3 times in one day, and he
Damn.
kept calling him out, fixing it, leaving. And the mobile mechanic calling me like, "Damn, all right, everything done or whatever. Your driver already left." He like, "Okay, I just need payment." What the fuck? I
Ghost
didn't
dog.
understand. I didn't understand, bro.
Ghost
I
dog.
didn't understand how these niggas is really. I mean, I didn't mean it. You know, I didn't know how they let the drivers just leave without payment. You know, I didn't get that, you know, so I just wanted to see what that felt like, you know, and then it just happened, it kept happening like 3 times in one day, because like a mechanical bill can really put your company out of business too, because sometimes you can't afford that stuff, you know.
Hmm.
But I definitely had the mechanics, and they come out, you know, state to state, you know. I let them drivers know like it ain't a breakdown that we gonna go through that we can't fix, you know, like long as that motor good, everything around it, you know, let's handle it, you know. And we really do it like that, man. We be on top of everything. We change your oils every 5,000 miles, filters, fuel filters, every filter you that got to be changed is changed. Ain't nothing dirty, you know.
How did you handle Blitz Week? You shut it down?
Blitz week, now I don't move, you know. I let DOT do their thing, you know. Even sometimes it could be blitz week for 1 week, but they could just go by them dates, and then the next week really be blitz week, you know. So I just play it light, man. I don't really mess with them boys. So I know if you run it legit, you got nothing to worry about. But at the end of the day, it's hard to run legit. You know, every day they coming out with a new rule, and you might have not have knew that rule. You know.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily you. It could be your driver too. You know, they could just hit him for cell phone, seatbelt. Um, he could be driving in that left lane. You know, like
Hmm.
he could be doing anything. He could be going in the city where he don't supposed to be. You know, they could see his load ain't strapped within the first 4 feet of the load. You know, they can any little thing. You know, they could see. Like they could see if your tires is not good. They could see if your lights is bad. Like they see the violation before they pull you over.
No,
You
that's a
know, so
fact.
just make sure everything good. You know, and like don't think that they not smarter than you. You know, they've been doing this shit longer than you, and they've been trained by people who've been doing this shit longer than them. You know, so I ain't one of them just running light where I'm gonna let them boys just get up on me and I'm just sweet like that. But they you just got to make sure you moving right, man. Make sure your stuff is good. Make sure everything is good. Tires good, lights good, car wash good. Make sure you ain't doing nothing illegal in the truck or whatever. Paperwork, fire extinguishers. Just make sure everything good, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. I mean, if they gonna always hit you with no EOD, but shit, fuck 'em, we ball.
That's a fact. Ghost
You can't
dog.
get no money with no ELD, man. That thing is trying to put you at a 32-hour McDonald job.
Mm.
We not even associating with one right now. I done got pulled over a few times, and they just happen to be just like, all right, man, go ahead. Damn, I'm lucky, I'm
Damn,
like,
bro.
all right, sweet,
I don't know
heart
how
be
you be bumping
pounding.
into shit. You be bumping into money. You be bumping into DOT letting you go. DOT not seeing you, boys. Boy, somebody praying for your ass, boy.
Yeah, man, gotta be, man. Something. I mean, I started off with dogs. I was breeding them dogs, selling them puppies, 10, 20,000 a puppy. I was taking good pictures. I was selling pictures. and each puppy each dog I sold last, and I bought a truck, and I did that, I started focusing on that stuff. I started having all that money, and I just started putting it into that one truck that I had got when I switched over from the Maserati, and then I used my credit. You know, I had capital. I always knew how to get some money. Some days you could be fucked up, but I always got a little motion to it.
Mm.
I got pulled over 14 times and caught 14 inspections. Them officers done taught me everything they know. When it come down to DOT rules and regulations, so I could tell you how to save your company, because right now, you're gonna be spending a lot of money on this company and you don't want to lose it. And just because I'm running no EOD don't mean that I would run no EOD under my real company. I'm saying if you are leased on and you running no EOD, that's cool. But when
Mm.
you running under your company, treat it like Amazon treat their company. You know.
That's a fact. So what you got going on besides this now? So you pointed out a good topic too, like, the Blitz week is on such and such dates, but shit, it might be the real Blitz week might be after the date that they publish. So, I would advise drivers to still be on the lookout. Don't think shit is sweet right now, and take your time. So what you got going? When do you plan to put them trucks back on the road?
I was probably gonna start sneaking them on the road, probably like probably tomorrow. I might sneak a truck on, just to see how it play out there. But I mean, so far everybody keep telling me they haven't even been seeing them boys. I mean, just keep it right, and keep your guard up, because they be anywhere, and it could be the stupidest thing they caught.
So, I ain't gonna hold up your time too much, brother. I appreciate you for
Nah,
coming on the show. I had to like let the world know who the real Ghost Dog is. This is the one and only Ghost Dog. Ain't no other Ghost Dog from Chicago. Doing the finesse thing official way. So, I ain't gonna hold up your time, brother. I know you're busy, so we definitely gonna chop it up again soon.
yeah, man, anytime, man, anytime.